Now we have with us, join this conversation, Dr. Ayodele Shizu. He's a senior lecturer, Department of Economics, University of Lagos, to help us join the conversation. Thank you, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So before you came on, we're discussing, well, we're practically lamenting about the recent news that the National Assembly will be getting 70 billion naira worth of palliatives, that they're also budgeting 40 billion naira for their vehicles, and that the government will be sending 8,000 naira to 12 million poor families as palliatives. And I'd like to also quote Senator Adara Modu, who stressed that if we look at the suites, the youth offices, the general structures of the National Assembly complex, to reveal that there's a need for exigent attention. Many senators had to bring their own chairs, tables, electronics, and many cases just them for repairs, even in the National Assembly. So that's some of the reasons why they felt that they need to renovate. What are your own general thoughts on this before we come to the economic effects of this plan?
Thank you very much. I think I want to follow Tope's part by saying that our Senate members and representatives are special breeds. They are a wonderful set of people representing our interests, and obviously they deserve the best. However, I usually find it difficult to explain to people how hard Nigeria is. Until recently, when a friend came home for the Salah and we were talking, and he looked into my eyes and said, "Hey, why? Nigeria is really, really tough." And it occurred to me that if somebody who has brought in dollars, converting to naira, and has more naira to spend, is telling me, who stays here regularly, that Nigeria is really tough, then indeed it must be really very, very tough. This is not the right time to do that. Even though I usually question that phrase, when is the right time? As representatives, they should know where the shoe pitches, their particular constituencies. Yeah. If you go back to the constituencies of all our representatives, it's an eyesore. And one of the things that came to my mind when I saw that news is 2023 edition of Toyota Prados. The first question that came to my mind is, will he be able to drive that Toyota Prado from Abuja down to his own constituency or hometown? A relative just came all the way from Makurdi some weeks back and spent a whole day just to get to Ilorin. Whereas, years back, you could ply this route, Lagos-Makurdi, in 8 hours without any fear of attack or anybody waylaying you on the road. So it's a high sense of, I'll call it high level of insensitivity. Even though we agree that they deserve to be well taken care of, their security is germane, just as much as the security of every Nigerian citizen is important.
Let me come here, because I know Mariam said something was important earlier. She said that it's like we're having the conversation we had 4 years ago again. And the question is, we remember there was a budget set aside for this same renovation that we all condemned. At least we're doing, I think, the second time when Buhari was coming in, or the first time, I can't even remember right now. But who is reviewing the renovations that we made? Because according to Senator Adara Modu, there are lots of people working within the legislature, and everybody and all their office complexes, they need a facelift. No doubt about that. But who has audited the previous facelift that was probably carried out? Some of us have houses here. In 20 years, we've not facelifted anything. You go to people's rooms. It was exactly how they entered was the first week. You can still see how they've not touched their house.
And they're still sleeping.
And they're still sleeping and waking up.
Unfortunately, we have a very toothless bulldog in the name of the Freedom of Information Act, where all these informations are not readily made available to us. So we will keep guessing. But the big question is, why would you have to keep buying brand new cars every 4 years. And one of the news headlines that I saw, reading through, it was reported that, yes, even though one of the SUVs is about 110 million, you know, that each House of Rep members is going to pay back. That it's a form of loan.
Really?
Who are they paying to?
Who are they going to pay to? And for goodness sake, for how long are we going to be using loans to facilitate consumption in this part of the world? The same thing we keep saying about subsidy. Yes, we argue that subsidy was actually used in financing consumption instead of production. We have removed subsidy. Now you're also going for loans to buy brand new SUVs, and you're saying they're going to pay back over the next 4 years. Forgetting the fact that it is not just only the costs of the purchase. What about the running costs, the maintaining costs? Is this going to be out of pocket from each of these representative and Senate members? Obviously, the answer is no.
So,
it still boils down to the taxpayers' money.
So what I think they do, which is, I believe is not supposed to be, is they're using the template of the private sector. So the private sector, for their MDs, directors, and all of that, will give out such luxurious cars. So each level you get a luxurious car on loan. They will amortize it over the years. So you're paying back, they are deducting from your salary over the years, and you're paying back to the company and organization. But I think they should have a different template, because this is not private sector. This is public service. So is there an account that is opened for that payback to be monitored? And aside from that, they still get the feeling. They get their allowances for maintenance. Are they paying that back as well? So I think the whole thing needs to be, unfortunately for us, the people who are supposed to make the laws to redesign it are part of the people benefiting. So how do we get out of this? What do you think is the solution? What powers do you think Nigerians have to call this back and say, right now, we cannot afford this, and it puts a stop to it?
Well, we have just only one choice, I would say. And the choice is to keep ourselves informed the more.
Wow.
We are not helpless in any way, but the volume of information at our disposal is quite limited. And this has, in several ways, incapacitated our ability to make the right decisions and the right choices. If I don't want to go back into 2 years back that led to the NSAS or this one crisis or the other. We need to start looking forward. And looking forward means that, yes, we need to now begin to clamor for a transformative change. And clamoring for transformative change now starts from the grassroots. Because this same senator or House of Rep, when they come, the glory still goes back to the grassroots. That's where they drum all the beats, chant all the songs, and you know, they hold the praises, and they say, my people are actually happy with me. And once my people are happy with me, I think I don't have any problem. But in the real sense of it, what is the state of the roads at this grassroots level?
Yeah. Okay.
What is the state of employment at this grassroots level? In fact, it baffles my heart when I walk around the streets and I see how the traders now selling food items, the stock of what they display is diminishing day by day. And that tells you very soon, we are more or less reincarnating that time bomb.
All right, let me get a few questions here.
You know, I feel like most of us, we understand what the issues are, and we don't want them anymore. But also, I want to find out, I would like you to give me your opinion on what you think the part we're playing, you know, as the masses or the constituents. Do we really like it when do we respect them better when they come back to our constituents with these big cars and these, you know, looking like they're living bigger? Does it make us feel that, okay, finally we have someone who can do something? And then when we go to them and we're asking for stipends here and there, are we in a way also encouraging this sort of spending at the federal level?
Of course, yes, we are. We are, because we aren't holding them accountable.
Because we don't know better at the grassroots, or because this is how we feel that they should work?
One, because we don't know better at the grassroots. Information asymmetry is so wide. And number two, we have this perception that change is just impossible. As far as Nigeria is concerned now, we've chanted the song, we wanted change, we got a change. Now, the change has changed us to the extent that many now have lost hope. I'm happy the sitting president has claimed that there is a renewed hope. But are we walking the talk?
Now, let me come to that for
Are we walking the talk?
Let me come to that point, because we run a democracy, and democracy means three arms of government. So there's the legislature, and there's the president, the executive, and the judiciary. Now, the legislature is an independent. So this budget that we're talking about is from the legislature.
Yeah.
Now, what can the executive do? Can the executive help us? Because this is a man that is going around saying, renewed hope, we're going to fix this country, we're going to help Nigerians. He got approval from them to give him 8,000 naira for 12 million homes. So we'll come to that in a moment. But can we get the executive to influence or get the legislature to redo or to reconsider this renovation, this money they're budgeting for SUVs, reconsider the amount they're budgeting for renovations? What can the executive do? Or the judiciary, what can they do to stop these guys?
Interestingly, it's a case of knife sharpening knife. You do my bidding, you get what I want. I do my bidding, you get what you want. Because the executives also need the legislature to also, you know, approve of their financial appropriation bills, etc. And in a like manner, the legislature also needs the support of the executive as well as the judiciary. What I think we need to do here is a coming to terms with a common goal. And what is this common goal? We want a Nigeria that is befitting for every citizen. Interestingly, the masses are crying, this is what I want. The public choice is there. But these two agents of government, the executives, the legislature, seems to be far from what the masses want. I may be forced to say that maybe we need a fourth tier of government. A fourth tier of government, which is, it's already existing, but it's not been appreciated, which is the people. The people, really. And under the able leadership of the traditional leaders or whatever. But...
okay, we have very little time now. Let me let Tope and Mariam come in.
So I wanted to ask about another of the policies that we've been discussing since last week was the approval of 8,000 naira to 12 million households. Now, there are many Nigerians that feel like, oh, this is another
way to siphon money.
Yes, I don't want to use the word scam, but like this is another way where money would go and we don't know who actually got the money. Is 8,000 naira going to really be impactful in the lives of people? And a part of me is saying, should I trust the system? Do we actually have 12 million people that are documented as indigent, and the Nigerian government have access to them to pay them the money?
Honestly speaking, I want to salute the courage of Mr. President, but I think he got it wrong in this perspective. He got it wrong. 8,000 naira per month is just too laughable. And I feel that certain things need to be done. For me, I would encourage Mr. President to drop that idea and pay more attention to other salient issues. The agriculture and food value chain is important. That was mentioned in that report as given by the spokesperson. But availability is an issue. I read it when it said there was no, availability is not an issue, but affordability. Even in Benue State, which is the food basket of the nation, you don't go to the Otukpo, mention it, Alede, where you get to before, and you see buckets of oranges lying on the road, waiting to be for sale, even at cheap prices. You don't get it there anymore. And what does that speak to us? The consequential effect of insecurity over time has gotten to the peak. So it's not about how many soldiers do you want to give a farmer to man a farmer at a farm land to produce. Farmers should go to their farmland willingly and not with ADCs for them to farm land and all of that. So security is very important.
In response to what you said, I'll let Mariam come in for a second, but I just want to read something somebody that works in the presidency sent when I queried this 8,000 naira. This is what the person said. He said there are 3 levels of response that people need to appreciate. According to him, he said that the immediate term response is for the poorest of poorest household, for whom 8,000 monthly for 6 months can be the gap between getting to work or not eating. According to him, he said that these are people that their bus to work has climbed by 3 times. This money covers that gap for many of such Nigerians to keep their household budgets in line with commodity price increase, 1. Then there's the medium-term response that deals with putting in this new CNG filling stations in places nationwide with an affordable conversion policy to ensure that we both have target a large market and supply. And then the long-term response is for the reinvestment in new railways, expressways, and other vital infrastructure for such. What's your response to that? Unfortunately, we do not have credible data to show or to let this government realize that we've had more people falling into that deep of poor, poorest of poorest. And consequently, they need to go back and appreciate the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which the Yoruba also corroborates, that the first thing first, make food available. Even this 8,000 naira cannot, she mentioned it, 1 derika. A bushel of rice now is close to about 3,000 naira. And once you eat a bushel, you can't eat a bushel for 3 square meals. I mean, 3 meals consecutively. Just the first, the second for a family of 4 is gone. So which means that you pay 8,000 naira, we're only going to buy 2 bushels of rice in 1 month.
Okay.
No money.
So that's laughable.
I get you, and for me, I just even want to understand this better. And I'm thinking, let's say we do have these families. Let's say we have data that can prove that we have 12 million households that are vulnerable to this point. What do you think that sort of life would be like? And in what way? Are you saying that there's no way 8,000 naira will make a difference in that household? Or do you think it will be something that is appreciated for the short term? Or do you think, don't bother at all, let's just go straight to the mid-term or the long-term interventions and leave this? Or do you think that 8,000, yes, it's not the best, but would it make a difference at all?
Well, 8,000 naira will be appreciated, but the difference is going to be very minimal. You know, it's as bad as, if you recall back in December, when we had the cash crunch. You give someone 200 naira, the person keeps rolling on the floor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In reality, you give anybody 8,000 naira now, fine, the person will still greet you ranka dede. But in terms of fulfilling the need, we want decent families. We want decent livelihood. What is 8,000 naira in the life of an individual that craves for decency? We don't want a group of people that you keep coming back to me. That is okay. Oga ranka dede tomorrow, ranka dede next day, ranka dede.
How much would be better? What do you think? How much?
To be candid, I think I would vote for nothing less than 30,000 naira, going by the so-called minimum wage in quote, which is we refer to as living wage.
Yeah.
Living wage. Yeah.
Okay, we have to wrap up, you know, but we'll keep waiting to hear the government's response to all this feedback coming from Nigerians, because the truth is that we are saying that our economy cannot handle some of this money. And according to Senator Adaramadu, he or she is saying that these are renovations that are required, and they've been there, and they need to, and the money is not going to individual legislators, right? It's going for renovation. That's one. The 8,000 naira is going to individual homes. We're saying that, according to you, government should review that. Others are saying that the medium to long term might be better because you need to provide transportation. You know, these people need to get to work. Fuel subsidy removal has affected quite a number of things, especially transportation. Yeah. Find ways to get into some intervention where people can either get to work easier, and food prices must be reviewed, and that comes with security. I hope our vice president, according to him from the papers today, said that they will launch the strategy, how they plan to tackle insecurity very soon. I think Operation Pulak or something he said. You know, so hopefully, when these things come, things will be different. But Nigerians are watching very keenly. We are. To see how this government makes a difference indeed. That's all we can take from today's show. I think I have a message from somebody which I think is important, but if not, I think I have to run. National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office has the data. Let us go there and verify. So he's saying that, according to Mr. Sam Omashe, he says the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office, they have data to help us verify if indeed we have 12 million poor who actually need this money.
No,
that's what we can take. We have to run. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you. The NS